Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Sugar Mama's Fireplay. I am your host, financial planner, Canna Campbell, and I am here to make sure that you start your Mondays off on a fired up, ignited note when it comes to achieving all of your financial goals and dreams. Now, today we're talking about preparing financially for moving out of home, or even better, moving into your new home. I want to talk to you about the things that you should do before you move so that you are completely organized, prepared, and in control at all times of your money, and that you move correctly with a great sense of release. You can continue on making great progress with your own financial goals and dreams, and you have an underlying sense of security and faith in yourself. So let us begin. Welcome back, everyone, to Sugar Mama's Fireplay. As I said, today we're going to be talking about how to prepare financially for moving out of home, or actually moving into your new home when you have moved on from becoming a renter to actually being a mortgage holder. So these are the things that I recommend you do beforehand so that you are completely prepared. And just a quick reminder to everyone that this episode, as is all of my episodes, they are general in nature and never product, personal, investment, or strategic advice at any time. So what do I recommend? All right, number one, you must do a budget. Before you move out, you need to understand what your real living expenses are and what you can afford. Now, what I recommend you do if you're moving out from home, or you're moving from being a renter into your own home, is do a lot of time understanding what the new expenses include. I've had so many people through the Budget and Cash Flow Academy reach out to me and share with me that they sort of fell apart financially when they realized the ongoing expenses and just the consistent ongoing expenses of becoming a home owner. You know, when a dishwasher broke, instead of calling the landlord or the property manager, they had to pay for it themselves. And it was a huge shock to them, and it was quite hard to overcome financially and did a bit of damage to their budget. So know this in advance and know that you have to include in your newer budget expenses that you don't necessarily experience right now. And if you're wondering what they could be, a great place to start is to obviously jump online, but also speak to family and friends. Family and friends that have already moved out of home and are now paying rent and understand that you have to pay for cleaning products and toilet paper and internet and energy and sometimes gas and home and contents insurance and sometimes Foxtel. Speak to those people so they can give you a list of things that shocked them when they moved out of home for the first time. And for renters that are about to move into their first home as a home owner, speak to people who have a mortgage and are living in their home and ask them, what expenses did you find caught you by surprise? Wear and tear, new carpet, maybe damage to the home, things that need to be replaced, new fridges and freezers, the strata, home and contents insurance, water bills, council rates, all those things that you may have just not known about innocently because you were renting or you had the comfort and luxury of living at home. So do a new budget that includes all of these expenses, and of course, round everything up to the nearest $10, $20, $50, $100, or even $1,000 so that you have some safe buffers in place. Because even though you're doing as much as you possibly can to make sure that your budget is very accurate, there could quite possibly be something that catches you by surprise that is particularly unique for the home or the property that you are about to move into. Next thing I recommend you do, and this is probably the number one most important tip of this episode, and that is dress rehearsal. Practice. Practice the new budget before you move. So if you are living at home, practice paying rent. Have the equivalent coming out of your everyday account as what you would pay for rent, and have that rent money go into a separate dedicated savings account so it feels real. This will be a quick eye-opener to see if you are really ready and can financially afford to move out of home. And of course, there are people in situations who have to move out of home. It's not a choice. But this may then help you give you a great guide as to how much you can afford in rent. And it will also be quite an eye-opener to see all the new expenses that come from moving out of home and how they quickly add up, and perhaps where you need to maybe cut down on other lifestyle expenses that you were previously enjoying. By practicing before you get out there and do it will mean that you are so much more resilient, so much more prepared, and a lot calmer when it comes to handling any sort of sudden shocks or surprises. And the longer you can do this, the better. And the great thing about doing this is it's actually going to force you to save up some extra money as well, because that special separate savings account that you've established for the pretend rent money or the new mortgage repayments can build up, and then you can use that as emergency money or use that to make, a lump sum payment onto your home loan if you've got your redraw facility switched on. So if you are renting and you're paying, say, $300 a week, and that you know that you're becoming a home owner and you're going to be paying, for example, $350 per week, make sure you put a regular savings plan of $50 per week or whatever the equivalent is, so that you can understand and feel what that true expense is before you make any major investment decisions, commitments, or financial decisions. And if you find this is too much and you've done something too early or too soon, you've got the benefit of knowing this in advance. So perhaps you delay moving out of home, or you find something that's more cost effective, or you find a home, or perhaps you decide instead of moving into the place that I've just purchased, I'm actually going to rent it out for 6 months to buy me some breathing space so I can get back on top of my emergency money or any other debts, or I can give myself more time to help prepare for the new outgoing expenses that come from owning a property. The dress rehearsal is something you will not regret. Number 3, furniture. Moving out of home is so exciting. And one of the nicest things about moving out of home is it's such an exciting chapter of your life, because you're really starting to take control and design your life. And our home, where we go home, we sleep, we feel safe, we switch off, we relax, we recharge our batteries, it's a very sacred space. So a lot of us naturally want to style and decorate our home. Now, buying furniture can be incredibly expensive, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. So understanding about where you can source furniture in a financially savvy way is so worthwhile. And I will also say knowing where you should splurge and where you should save is also worthwhile. Of course, we have Gumtree, we have Facebook Marketplace, we have so many accounts on Instagram selling furniture or even beautiful designer pieces of furniture at the fraction of the prices. So make sure you try and save some money where you can and know what you are prepared to buy pre-loved to save some money and have, that beautiful dining table of your dreams or that beautiful, comfortable sofa of your dreams, versus where you actually do need to buy something brand new. For example, for me personally, I'd never buy a pre-loved mattress. I value a good night's sleep. I want a really good quality mattress where I can feel comfortable, my muscles can rest and recharge. So for me, I'll happily buy a pre-loved sofa or dining table or coffee table if it means I can have enough money set aside to then invest in a good quality mattress. So use this time to research and explore. And if you ever want to know where I source beautiful furniture at a fraction of the price, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll link all the accounts for you. Number 4, declutter. So moving is a great opportunity to go through your stuff. Well, you kind of have to go through your stuff to pack it up, but go through your clutter and go, okay, what actually can I get rid of and what can I actually sell and make some extra money? And of course, that money that you raise can go towards your emergency savings account and help make sure that you are far more prepared and financially resilient in moving. Or perhaps that money can go towards making a few mortgage repayments into your property before you even moved in, so you're really ahead of the game. But sit down and go through the things that you can sell. And the one bit of advice I can give you right now as someone who has a few things listed online at the moment is selling sometimes takes a while. You don't want to be in a position where you have to dramatically and drastically drop your prices just to quickly get things sold because they're not moving fast enough. Understand it may take time, so the quicker you can list things, the better. And remember, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and the more we can sell to the circular economy, the less we are putting in landfill. So feel good financially, but also feel good from an environmental point of view. Number 5, bills. I know I've already touched on the importance of the new bills that are going to be creeping in your life when it comes to renting and being a mortgage homeowner, but can I share with you a brilliant hack around bills? And that is to be ahead. be ahead of those bills. So what I share with people in my Budget and Cash Flow Academy is a really clever hack where you take those irregular bills, such as the quarterly bills, and pay them not only monthly, but 1 month in advance, so that when that bill comes in, it's $0 owing. For example, our water bill averages around about $360 per quarter. So not only do I pay $120 per month using the biller code, because Sydney Water is a quarterly bill, I have paid it 1 month in advance. Now, initially, this is a little bit harder to do. It's a bit of a stretch because you're having to almost pay 2 months up front. But once you've done it, it's brilliant. It's great. And I don't need to think about it. I just automatically do this every single month. That money, when I get paid, goes to Sydney Water. And I do the same thing with my other quarterly bills. I've also got the same thing going with my energy bills and my gas bills, but they come out on a monthly basis because my energy and gas provider allows this. But you don't have to wait until that quarterly or biannual or annual bill comes in. You can actually pay it monthly and even a month in advance so that you never actually owe any money. And this can be really good for your credit score as well, because it means that it's highly unlikely that you're going to miss a repayment. And because you're creating consistency in your budget and cash flow, you're less likely to forget about a bill accidentally. And of course, it makes it so much easier to stick to your budget because you don't have that volatility or that irregular expense that can sometimes catch us by surprise because we're not properly prepared for it. So treat your bills by paying them upfront and being ahead, and break them down in the same cycle as you get paid, such as monthly. Tip number 6 is removalist. Now, removalists can be incredibly expensive, and there is a wide range of different services and therefore different costs. So do your research in advance. You do not want to be having to pay a fortune to a removalist because you didn't book it in time and everyone's booked out. Understand there are certain days of the weeks where they charge a premium. So by doing this, you can actually try and strategically time your move to be a lot more cost effective. Also understand what you can do is to be creative when it comes to that move. What can you do yourself? Can you swap cars with someone for the day, or can you lean on a friend to help you? Or can you go and rent a ute or a van for the day to help move items safely without them getting damaged or injuring yourself in order to save some money? And of course, when you look at those removals, look at the way that they're charged. Do they charge a flat fee per day, or do they charge by the hour? Whichever way you go, try and look at it as a way of saving money, because the more you can do yourself, they say over a weekend or getting up earlier in the morning and doing as many trips as you can, you're going to save a lot of money. And also it means you can just leave those bulky, heavy lifting items to them because they are the experts. But there are lots of different options. And I have to say, I'm saying this not necessarily as a financial tip, but more of as an environmental one. Some removalists now have reusable boxes. So you don't need to go and buy cardboard boxes, which end up being, they do get recycled, but sometimes they do get wasted and not properly recycled. Some of these removalists have these big green boxes, which they drop off to your house 2 weeks beforehand to allow you to plan and prepare to make that move happen efficiently and waste as little money as possible. So being organized is well worth your time. And then tip number 7. This is really important if you want to stay in control and be organized at all times. And that is the moment you can. Make sure you go and update all of your details. Update your address details with your superannuation company, with your insurance company. Make sure your bank is sending your statements, assuming you're getting them in the mail, to your new correct address. Not only is this going to help make sure that you stay organized and informed as to where your money is, it's also going to help reduce the risk of identity theft. You want to make sure that you can stay on top of and track everything that involves your financial situation, whether it be a savings account, an investment portfolio, a superannuation portfolio. You need to make sure that that information goes directly to you at your correct address. This is why there is $1.4 billion sitting with ASIC right now in their unclaimed money fund. And most of those situations are where people have forgotten to update their contact details. So be organized, write a list of all the people you need to get in contact with, and update those details to the correct details as soon as you possibly can. This will also make you feel so much better about yourself because you'll know exactly where your money is, how much you've got, where it's invested, what policies you've got in place to protect you, and this sense of clarity will also help give you a greater sense of purpose and direction well into the future. So that is it for today's episode. Please feel free to send this episode to anyone you know that is thinking of moving out of home or anyone that is renting right now and is wanting to become a homeowner. This will help give them so much more financial resilience, stability, and peace of mind. I cannot stress enough the importance of that practice, that dress rehearsal in making that transition happen. It's something that I did personally for myself, and it allowed me to really understand what my new expenses were going to really look like as a homeowner. And that practice dress rehearsal money, yes, that got saved up. And in fact, I was able to make my first mortgage repayment before I'd even moved into the property. So it actually saved me tens of thousands of dollars in interest and valuable time, which is something we all like saving. All right, everyone, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Until next Monday, stay motivated, stay empowered, and never stop seeking new ways to achieve your financial goals and dreams. This is Sugar Mama's Fireplay.